MeteoMark Weather Show. Let's take a look at your Labor Day outlook. But before we do, I want to promise my viewers that have been waiting for the El Nino update here. I am very close to finishing it, and take a look at this. This was basically the El Nino pattern during the most severe El Nino that most of us can remember, the 1998 El Nino. And this was a very, very strong trough here in the southwestern and western states here, followed by a very, very prominent, strong ridge here in the eastern portion of the United States, resulting in one of the warmest winters on record here across southeast Canada and northeastern part of the U.S. It also resulted in some extreme ice storm, the North Country ice storm of January 1998, where we saw several weeks of problems with ice here, and this was a problem for the power companies as well. It was basically the warmer air overriding some cooler, relatively cooler air at the surface. It wasn't a bitterly cold type of air mass, but it was cold enough so that when the rain fell into this air mass, it produced a significant, staggering amount of ice across upstate New York, southern Ontario, southern Quebec, northern New England, northern Vermont, New Hampshire. Got in on the act of some of that severe icing. Out west here, California saw one of its worst basically flood situations here in the El Nino of 1998. Now, as we well know, California is suffering from a very, very bad drought now, and this has been going on for quite some time. So many are wondering, and a lot of my viewers have been sending in, is this going to be an El Nino similar to the 98 one? Now, El Nino's been kind of delayed because we haven't seen the warmer waters beneath the surface come to the surface off the west coast, the west central coast of South America. However, there's indications that it will happen. However, we're not looking at a severe type of El Nino. However, I'm still looking at an El Nino and where that trough sets up out west here versus the east. It will also have implications on what type of winter we see back east here, whether it will be cold and snowy or warm and rainy. Or will it be something in between? I basically have that video coming out very, very soon momentarily. So for all of you that are hoping that I would roll basically the El Nino outlook along with the fall and winter outlook, that's basically what I'm going to do, because basically the outlooks for the next 4 to 6 months all basically depend on what El Nino does. El Nino is a very powerful force that we're going to continue to watch for here on the upcoming months. So let's take a look at that Labor Day outlook. I will be releasing the El Nino update along with fall and winter outlooks, but let's take a look at what Labor Day, the last part of summer here, has for us. If we take a look at precipitation amounts here across northern New England, the St. Lawrence Valley, we'll be dealing with some problems on the order of 2 to 3 inches of rain, and here in the northern plains as well, stalled out frontal boundaries will continue. And here along the Gulf Coast here, New Orleans over to Houston and Brownsville, you'll be dealing with a tropical wave that will slowly move its way southwestward. It may develop into something, but chances are at this point, it's more of a rainmaker. Let's take a look at those surface maps. Friday, we're basically looking dry in New England. Nice temperatures, low to mid 70s. But here we got basically a return flow from the southwest on the backside of this high pressure system. We're going to be looking at scattered showers and thunderstorms developing on into your Saturday. You see this warm front moving to the northeast. Look at these temperatures on the rise. Low to mid 80s, some areas in the upper 80s already approaching. And basically New York City this weekend for your Labor Day weekend could be well into the lower 90s. So something you haven't seen all summer long, and especially here across New England and New York and Pennsylvania, we'll be seeing highs in some of these warmer valleys approach 90, but we will have those showers and thunderstorms in the afternoon and early evening develop on into Sunday. Sunday, this front really starts to stall out across the Great Lakes, the St. Lawrence Valley, on up into the New England area. We'll be dealing with showers and thunderstorms likely, and if you haven't noticed, take a look at this. Northern areas of our forecast area in southern Canada, 60s, versus south of Interstate 80 in Pennsylvania, heading on into southern New England, New Jersey, Long Island, could be into the lower 90s. So this is a very, very tight baroclinic zone, and you guessed it, you mean basically, a lot of you are probably guessing there will be some isolated severe thunderstorms, and there probably will be in portions of upstate New York, northwest Pennsylvania, northeast Ohio, and even portions of extreme southern Ontario here. We could get on in the act of some of those isolated severe on until Labor Day itself. Basically, we're still looking at this frontal boundary hanging around with showers and thunderstorms likely, and we're dealing with cool air in southeast Canada, the North Country of New York and New England, and warm temperatures here across New York City, Harrisburg, Pittsburgh, Scranton, still dealing with mid to upper 80s with some areas near 90. That's going to do it here of this segment of the Labor Day Outlook for MeteoMark. Don't forget to like me on Facebook at MeteoMark, subscribe to me on YouTube at MeteoMark.com. Here's that 5-day outlook from Binghamton to Scranton, Susquehanna region of upstate New York, northeast Pennsylvania. If we look at this, we're on the rise with temperatures, Friday being the nicest day, Saturday chance of showers and thunderstorms, particularly after 4 p.m. Overnight lows near 60. We'll start off cool in the upper 40s basically Friday morning, but we quickly warm things up into the lower 80s each day, and basically from Saturday all the way through Tuesday you have that chance of showers and thunderstorms each day, probably Sunday being one of the worst days with a lot of showers and thunderstorm activity on into your Monday, potentially some isolated severe. That's going to do it here at MeteoMark.